What's up, everybody? This is Zach again with New England Sports Talk, and today we are recapping the 2019 draft profile for Cameron Johnson, 6'9", 210-pound senior guard or forward maybe, but it's got him listed as a guard. Out of University of North Carolina, obviously, and you guys have probably heard a little bit about this guy already, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth with him and kind of go over what he's all about. Now, just like the previous video that I posted with Kevin Porter Jr., this is also recommended by Ken Miles or requested by Ken Miles. Leave a comment, let me know what you guys want to see, if you want to see a particular player to be reviewed or a particular topic to be reviewed as well too. I can definitely go over that with you guys as well, give you my thoughts and give you my perspective on the situation or a certain player coming into the draft or whatever it is, guys. So just as always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll just jump right in as usual. All right, let's start with his strengths as usual, guys. He can shoot from absolutely anywhere, it seems like. The dude has got shots from inside the paint, from the three-point range, especially from the three-point range, from the mid-range, whatever it is, he's got it in his tool bag. He can shoot from any spot of the court, it feels like. Also, on top of that, he's a fantastic free throw shooter as well. This was one of the knocks that I was giving Kevin Porter Jr. a few minutes ago when I recorded that video, and he couldn't shoot free throws. Cameron Johnson can shoot free throws, and he can shoot them very well. Actually, the 3 years that he was actually a starter, he never shot less than 80% from the free throw line. The dude is consistent, and he can shoot really from any spot on the floor, including the free throw line. Now, also, not only that, but his usage rate, as it increases, so does his efficiency as well. The dude does not shy away from the moments, and he really, when they ask him to play a bigger role or take on a bigger load at that point and throughout the game or throughout a couple games or whatever it is, he delivers, especially on the efficiency side. A lot of times I don't get too in depth as far as the efficiency and those numbers, but this guy's, if you just look at his numbers, it's glaring obvious how efficient he can be, and then it just happens to be at the biggest moments whenever his usage rates increases. Now that kind of carries us into the third strength as well for him. He's got really good showings against big time teams, big time matchups. He comes and plays hard every single night, but especially with those big time teams, those prime time matchups, he really does do a really good job as far as putting his team in the best position to win and really delivering on both sides of the ball. And we'll actually go a little bit more in depth with the matchups and stuff in just a few minutes, because there's one series and one game that I want to particularly really hone in on and kind of go over with you guys, but that'll be in just a few minutes as well. Also, the fourth thing about him is he is known as being a very high character guy. This is a guy that I've talked about in other videos where sometimes the players at the end of the first round and even the beginning of the second round, typically the guys like Cameron Johnson, he's a senior guard or senior forward, like I said, he's a little bit older. A lot of times they drop into the second round or pretty far into the second round because of their age, and teams don't really want to take a chance on a guy with their first pick or their early second round pick because of his age that he has, and the span of a career he might have might be hindered because he's already older than everybody else coming into the draft. Well, that's fine and all, but also he's a high character guy, so whenever it comes to making a decision on moving up on a player or taking a chance on a player where they don't usually get drafted at, like Cameron Johnson, that type of player doesn't usually get drafted like in the lottery or even sometimes in the early first rounds either, or the mid first round. The guys that have high character, you can take a chance on. You can feel comfortable doing that with your franchise, and even though a first round pick isn't always that valuable as far as like trade assets and assets that a team has, or even a second round pick either, like an early second round pick, there's still really good guys in these drafts, and he's one of those guys that you can pick up. And I believe because of his high character, he's going to be able to develop that into responsibility, taking his game very seriously, having a higher motor, being respectful to coaches. There's a whole number of different things as well that can really help him and become a good NBA veteran, hopefully in this league. Hopefully he has a long career in the league. Now, we're going to talk about his growth areas. One area that I put here, you guys are probably going to laugh at this, but I said his age. Again, he can't do anything about his age, but that is one thing that a team might kind of weigh back on as far as taking him, is because of his age. Like I just said, they might still take him because of his high character, so that's a bonus. They might cancel each other out. But as far as his age, that might be one reason why some teams kind of steer away from Cameron Johnson, because they'd rather take a bigger potential younger guy that they can develop over several years, whereas Cameron Johnson is probably going to have to be in a rotation in the first 1 to 3 years of his career, one or 2 years of his career possibly, and he's really going to have to start developing and getting good or getting consistent at an earlier part of his career. Now, he's also not a huge athlete as well too. He really relies on fundamentals, which again kind of counteracts the whole athleticism part, but he's not super fast. He doesn't jump super high, that kind of thing. And that's okay. There's not a lot of, not every single player in the league is super duper athletic. You can be very consistent with just being fundamentally sound and having a good game and being, again, a high character type guy. So that's okay. Not a huge deal. One thing though for him is he's not a huge shot blocker as well, which he's 6'9", so you probably would expect him to be a high shot, a big time shot blocker, but he's just not that. That's okay. That'll probably grow on him when he gets more developed in the league and that kind of thing. At least I hope it will. But that is something to kind of watch out for him, see if he can develop some type of shot blocking in the next level. Now, he was also named, I wanted to mention this as well, he was also named the 2019 First Team All-ACC, so he was named to that team. Big time players on that team. It's in the ACC. Big time basketball. That's their thing in the ACC. It's basketball. Sometimes it's football. Sometimes it's other stuff. But it's consistently basketball, though, no doubt. And he was on that team. That's a big time honor for him. I wanted to mention that as well. Now, let's talk about the key matchups that he had as well. So pretty much the entire Duke, North Carolina series. Like, I don't know a single person who didn't watch that. If you watch college basketball, you watch the series, right? Well, I know that there was injuries and I know all that stuff, so don't hate me for that when I'm bringing this series up. But North Carolina didn't do bad at all in that series, and especially Cameron Johnson. He balled out. He went 24 or 47 from shooting over the 3 games that they had. That's 51% shooting. He hit, and that's 63 points, by the way. 63 points in 3 games isn't bad at all. 21 rebounds as well, which is not bad at all. So really stuffed the stat sheet, really played really well, like I said, against those big-time matchups, big-time teams. He really showed up and really delivered on those nights. Also, another game that I wanted to mention as well was against Gonzaga. 25 points, 67% field goal percentage, and he shot 6 of 8 from three-point line. That is consistent. That is good basketball right there. That's big-time basketball right there. That's the reason why we're talking about him right now, is because he delivered in those games, and he's got a great game as well, too. So let's go ahead and swing on over to his 2018-2019 stats. So he averaged 17 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, 2.5 assists a game, and 50.6 from the field goal percentage from shooting. Not bad at all. Consistent numbers. That's why we're talking about him, because this is exactly what he's going to deliver into the next level. Consistent shooting, and he's going to kind of dabble into the other areas as well. Field goal, assists, things like that as well. Maybe steals, maybe blocks if he can get that up, and that kind of thing. Now, his comparison, I saw a lot of Justin Jackson comparisons for him, and I didn't really like that too much on the internet. I didn't really think. I thought Justin Jackson was a little bit more versatile and had a much better speed than Cameron Johnson does, but it's not a terrible one. The guy that I was actually thinking of, and you guys may not, I mean, you probably know about him if you watch basketball, but was Austin Day a few years ago. Played for the Pistons. That was his big time role when he played the Pistons. He had some good times. He didn't ever average over like 6 points a game, I think, in his career, but that's like low end. He played like 8 years or 9 years in the league, or 7, 8 years, whatever it was, in the league. He was consistent. He was a guy who actually had some big time moments in his career as well, whether it was with the Spurs or with the Pistons. Like I said, I really liked him with the Pistons, but that was just me. Now, probably his high end though, his ceiling for this is probably, I would say, Gallinari, Danilo Gallinari. That's who I would pick. Again, his shooting has got to be better. He's 6'9". He could possibly play the 4 if he can get a little bit more physical and get rebounds and become a shot blocker. But Gallinari isn't really known for his defense either. He's known for his 3-point shooting and his ability to space the floor. I think that's the same thing that Cameron Johnson is going to be able to do, but maybe instead of being in a power forward role or small forward role that Gallinari is, maybe he swings that over into the shooting guard or small forward position, and he can use his offensive game and his consistency to really spread the floor and make himself a big-time threat in an offense. So, guys, that was it. That was my 2019 draft profile for Cameron Johnson. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. Who do you want me to review next, guys? And I'll take a look and see if I can do it. Thanks, guys.